Prefect joke of the day. Do you want to hear a joke about vacuums? Never mind, it sucks.
Don't sit down. We're going to start. Oh, actually, sit down for a minute, guys. Because I have to find this. That joke really sucked. Thank you for that. That was great. Who had a really hard time getting up this morning out of bed? Wow. Well, congratulations for making it here. So we did, I know a lot of us had a hard time crawling out of bed this morning, but we are here together. So I just invite you to use this time just to relax, take a few deep breaths before the craziness of the day starts. You'll hear a few words about this and that. You can let those words just kind of roll over you, or you can pay attention. But just really part of the reason we gather in the morning is just to come together as community during the week. And I know sometimes it feels very early, but I hope that you can just relax into it this morning. I'm trying to think of what the first hymn is. That's why. What is the first hymn? Morning Has Broken. That's right. I'm not having a hard time this morning. LMNOP 27, hymn number 27, Morning Has Broken. I invite you to please stand. Thank you. Please be seated. So a number of staff have started up a writing group. So our first meeting is coming up. And I have a novel I've been fiddling around with, some of you know. I started it in 1999. I know you think I made a mistake, but it's true. I started this novel 20 years ago, so I'm hoping this writing group will either help me to finish it once and for all, or to consign it to the fires of hell forever. It's starting to be a bit of a problem. So the working title of the book is Leaving Behavior. I don't know if you've ever heard this phrase, leaving behavior. It refers to how we sometimes start acting weird when we begin to prepare to leave a place, a job or a community or a school. So people who exhibit leaving behavior are people who find it hard to concentrate on day-to-day work. They begin to sometimes disengage from the people around them, and they start to think a lot more about the future than about the present. So in other words, leaving behavior is kind of leaving before you actually leave, if you know what I mean. It's that kind of sense of disengagement. So even if you haven't heard that phrase, I suspect that you are familiar with the phenomenon. In fact, I suspect that many of you are feeling it right at this moment, this kind of leaving behavior. So a while ago, I Googled the phrase leaving behavior just to see what other people were saying about this notion, and I found just one site that actually uses the actual phrase leaving behavior. The site outlines an experiment that was conducted to describe the changes in behavior occurring at the time of nest leaving in free-ranging domestic pigs. So let me read you a short excerpt from this. During the last 5 days of the nest occupation, the litter spent more and more time outside the nest, and during the last days of nest occupation, frequency of reciprocal contact grunts and long grunts from the mother increased, indicating a change in the character of the mother-young interaction. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, wow, that's exactly what happens here at this time of year. And I think you'd be right about that. As we get closer to closing day, the frequency of grunts from teachers and students does tend to increase, and this does seem to indicate a change in the character of teacher-student interactions. So the interactions change, I think, because we engage at this time of year in a different kind of work, or we might say that the intensity of our work changes as we concentrate almost solely on preparing for the end of the year, for end of the year activities, the most important, of course, being final exams. So when it comes to baby animals like piglets, of course, they're generally not anxious to leave the comforts of the mother, warmth, milk on demand, a soft place to sleep. Usually the mama animal has to kick the babies out of the nest. And some of you may be feeling kind of like that right now. Others may be feeling anxious to get school over with, at least for the year, to get on with the joys of summer, or in the case of the grade 12s, to get on with the rest of your life. But the point is that leaving means different things to different people. And I think sometimes it means different things to us from one day to the next, right? So what is common for all of us is that it is easy at this time of the year to come down with leaving behavior, to get distracted, to lose focus, to kind of let our energy flag for some of the important work that is left to be done, despite the long grunts of your teachers. So here is a different way, perhaps, to do leaving behavior. Since things do tend to shift as the year end gets near, why not switch the leaving behavior around as well? So instead of thinking just about leaving, maybe we could think about what we are leaving behind. And not just the memories that we will take, but particularly about the memories that we will leave. So instead of disengaging from the people we're going to be leaving, I think we do that because it feels safe. It's like, I'm going to be leaving, maybe I should just start to disengage now. But maybe instead of doing that, why not think of engaging with them now that we're still together? I think this is the perfect time to say certain things, to say things that we have perhaps been putting off. The thank yous, the apologies, the compliments, and the heartfelt expressions of friendship. These few weeks can and maybe should be a time of feeling freer to express our feelings to one another. And hopefully those are positive feelings. And maybe instead of being totally preoccupied with the future, perhaps we could use some of this time to reflect on what this year and perhaps multiple years has meant to us. This year has been a very full year, of course, and there's a lot worth reflecting on and learning from, both the happy experiences and the difficult ones. So I guess what I'm saying is that this really is a precious time, these few weeks, very precious in many ways. They provide unique opportunities. It's our chance to crown a year of challenges and struggles and achievements with a final show of what we are made of, a last burst of creative energy. And these few weeks, how we conduct ourselves and how we experience these last few weeks will have a kind of a very significant sense of how we remember Shawnigan and how we experience the end of the year. So I really urge you just to really see, it's almost like these are sacred weeks. They have so much power to kind of allow us to leave in a way that we can feel really good about. Does that make sense? So let's finish well. As we always say, let's commit to doing our absolute best in the days ahead. And keep in mind the old adage about breakfast that I think you've all heard. When it comes to breakfast, the difference between involvement and commitment is like bacon and eggs. The chicken is involved. The pig is committed. You got that one. Today is another special day. It's a special day in a lot of ways, but I'm going to ask Deb to come up, and he's going to tell us about why this is special for some people in the world.
Hey everyone, my name is Dev. I'm a grade 9 in Ripley's. This is my second year at Shawnigan. I'm up here to talk about the 15 years I lived in Ethiopia and the memories I've had there. Ethiopia is a very green and natural place. It has very nice and welcoming people. The first time I came to Ethiopia was when I was 4 months old, and I've lived there ever since. Before I came to Shawnigan, I studied at an international school in Addis, which is the capital city of Ethiopia. Okay. The best experience I had in Ethiopia was about a year ago, when out of the blue, my friends and I decided to go watch Ethiopia play Kenya in a soccer match. It was the first time any of us had done this, so we were pretty nervous. We got the tickets for the game and went. Everyone in the stadium had a glass of beer and just screamed until their lungs exploded. As soon as we walked in, there were no chairs, and I was really confused, because I thought stadiums were supposed to have chairs, but it was a flat concrete ground, and everyone is standing and jumping around. My friends told me to fit in and do whatever everyone else was doing, so I did. Once the game started, there was no place to move around. It was pretty much impossible. Since I was a big unit, like I am right now, big guy, I did not do food runs. We set my friends who were skinny and tiny like Jojo to do it. After a long and loud first half, Ethiopia was down 5-0, but yet people were still screaming and cheering the team on. We came back after the 15-minute break, and there was no space, and we were really bummed. Then an old guy saw us and asked us where we were standing before the break, and we pointed it out to him. So he screamed and told people to move and let us in, and sent us to the front where everything was clear. I was shocked about why he would let us do that. This was probably the nicest thing that had ever happened to me. Once Ethiopia had lost the game, instead of crying and walking away, people started singing songs and started dancing and screaming. They made dance circles People went in and danced, and they all were happy and didn't care that their country had lost. This was the best moment ever because even though they lost by a lot, they still had pride and didn't give the players hatred, but they gave them more love and were united as a country. This means a lot to me, knowing that the country I've lived in for my whole life is always united, and people always care about each other. And I know for a fact that no matter where I go, I'll always have a chance to go back and relive moments like this. So today is Ethiopia's National Day, so I'm gonna read the national anthem for Ethiopia. Respect for citizenship is strong in our Ethiopia. National pride is seen, shining from one side to another, for peace, for justice, for the freedom of people. In equality and in love we stand united, firm of foundation we do not dismiss humanness. We are people who live through work. Wonderful is a stage of tradition, owners of a proud heritage. Natural grace, mother of valorous people, we shall protect you, we have a duty. Our Ethiopia, and let us be proud of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Deb. That was great. So we're going to end with hymn number 5, the Case House hymn, Jerusalem. Please stand. Thank you all for that. That was great. I would have rather heard Dev sing the Ethiopian national anthem, but that was the second best thing. Thank you. Have a great day.